right? People say yes. And this BCI and brain-computer interface is the starting point of creating an artificial human being. Right? We think that this BCI today and yesterday we had plenty of sessions. They were saying that BCI and brain-computer interface is useful for the human beings who are having disabilities. They say that it is used for neuro rehabilitation. But please keep in your mind, it also has your emotion or feeling is not good. All the advancements in the technology which you are going to make will have more negatives than the positives. But we will be pulled into the world under the guise that it is going to be always positive for me. We never know, maybe you may be creating an artificial human being or the next generation. When you enter into specifically research, the doctors, all the presentations today were made by neurologists and doctors. I was again very much surprised because in Indian scenario, it is all about MBBS means study, then go and work in a hospital, right? Study clinical practice. But today, all were doctors. They were doing plenty of things in artificial intelligence. So if at all you have a taste for research, I would advise you, you can also mix this concept of AI into your medical, whatever courses you do, then probably you can also become a doctorpreneur at some point of time, right? Doctorpreneur is the medical doctors do only checking on the fevers, giving injection, all those things. Right? So I would advise you can perspective. Now the other side you have the brain, which you know very well than me. Right? Now people are trying to create this artificial human being, are trying to find out how can we mix brain and computers. Right? There are plenty of ways, methodologies with which this process is being done. One of the most commonly used ways are signals. Have you learned anything about signals? Right? Signal is again a natural phenomenon. Right? I am a natural phenomenon. I speak. Right? When I speak, some information you are able to grasp or at least hear. This is called as a signal. Right? People say that when something which you are able to hear is taken as a signal or an audio signal or a speech signal, but there is also a signal which you cannot hear. That signal is from your brain. Right? The hardware part or the external part, I speak, you see, you hear, you listen, everything is done. But the software part is something which you cannot see. When you cannot see, you will not be able to hear it also. But human beings are trying to extract that signal from the brain, even if that action is not performed, and try to make sure that some action will be done at a remote place. Say for example a surgery. I am an expert in surgery, but I am unable to travel to a remote location. Right? So what I can do is, from my place itself, I can give instructions. Right? I can give instructions in the form of signals, which reaches are transmitted to the receiver side, where they will be able to decode it and the surgery can be successfully done. This is the idea of brain-computer interface. But what happens, unfortunately, is, do you listen to my voice? Do you know English? You can understand anything? Is there any other noise or sound available here? No, right? It's a picture perfect classroom. But unfortunately, the brain signal which you take from the head is not always perfect. Right? You have plenty of internal noises and also external noises. This internal noise are the signals generated from other parts of the body. Oh, you must have learned about the process or the function of neurons, right? In your anatomy or some classes, right? So everything will accumulate to the real brain signal in your head, right? If that signal is taken and if it is sent to the person on the other side, what will happen? All the instructions will go wrong. Apart from that, we have a concept of in engineering called as EMI EMC. Have you heard about that? You will experience that in your day-to-day life. Electromagnetic interference and electromagnetic compatibility. Sometimes when you have a plastic chair, if you keep your hand close to the chair, what happens? If you have hair in your hand, it will be straightened up. In Telugu movies, you will find that when the hero is walking from the shoes, he will get fire, right? When you open something, again there will be fire. We may think that it is entertainment, but that is actually true. But the only difference is the intensity is very less, so that it is not causing any harm to the human body. Right? These type of signals, when mixed with the brain signal corresponding to a process, you will completely lose track of the information. Right? So the first part, the preliminary part in brain-computer interface is how to remove those noises. Today morning was intelligent approaches, right? Because now it is brain and computer. I take signals from the brain, and with the help of the computer, I am going to analyze the data and give the clear output to the receiver. For non-stationarity in MEG, have you heard about MEG? You must have. Magnetoencephalography. Right? Have you heard about EEG? Right? We all know ECG? Yes. ECG, EEG are very common. I was told that there are only 20 data acquisition devices for magnetoencephalography. Right? And today morning in Moscow State University, there is a machine for capturing magnetoencephalography. EEG is something based on electrical principle, and magnetoencephalography is based on some magnetic principles, right? People say that, the physicians, the doctors, you people say that magnetoencephalography signal is having more clarity than the EEG signal for processing. But the machine's availability is very less, so the doctors are not very sure whether the signal they take from the human head is correct or not. Right? So we used MEG data for an improved brain capacity. I will skip all these things. This is some information about me. As I told you, my areas of interest is all about artificial neural networks. Have you heard about that? What is natural neural network? What is neuron? Where you find neuron? Brain. What is network? You have a peer-to-peer network. What do you mean by that? You have connection with each other, right? That means our neurons are always connected with each other. When they speak, it is not a single neuron which is giving a decision, it is always a group of neurons. Each human action is related with a group of neurons. So we call it as neural networks. Because we have another phrase called as natural neural network, all those which are artificially framed are called as artificial neural networks. So our main purpose, or my main purpose, is creating an artificial brain. Right? I have PhD students, I have collaborators across the globe, and we try to develop an artificial brain, not in the form of hardware, but in the software or in a part of an algorithm, and we connect with the physicians to validate our artificial. So this is all about research. These are my different associations across the globe. Maybe you are too young for that. And anybody writing research papers or conferences? No? Yes, sir. Yeah, I find one. Right? Maybe it may be useful for you. Right? If you need something, you can always let me know. I can support you with that. And these are some of my books. May not be interesting for you, right? Because your book itself is very huge and you will not be able to study. But if at all you get some time, you can go to Amazon and you can just have a peek through these books. And if at all you find interest, right, you need not purchase because it will be very expensive. You can let me know, I can send you an e-copy, right? Maybe 1 in a million will do it. So I will just give you some overview on MEG based BCA. So what is the signal from the brain? Right? When I speak, there is a signal from the brain. Absolutely fine. Now I am asking you a question. I am not speaking. I keep quiet. But in my brain, I think that I am speaking. Can you do that? Yes. Now, what will be the difference between the signal when actually the signal is given outside or when it is within my head itself? Will there be any difference or not? Physicians and the doctors say there should not be any difference. Right? There should not be any difference. So this BCA can be used for applications for dumb people. Right? Exactly what I am trying to speak something in English, the same thing I can, even a dumb person can think in his mind, so and so I am from so and so, I am doing all those things, he can think in his mind. That signal should be transmitted to the receiver and he should feel like this person is talking. Right? So that is called as motor imagery touch. Have you come across this one? Right? You must have come across this phrase if you are into this concept of brain-computer interface. All the movements, you can just take 1 second or 2 seconds, eating. Now you can feel like eating some ice creams or burgers or something like that. Or you can also think like you are at your home, in your hometown with your family, right? You can think, it is not real, but you can think. All these signals will be taken as inputs to train the computer. As I told you, computers are dependent on the natural phenomena. These signals are taken and we have specifically designed, developed algorithms, and the computers will take all these signals, which is only in the form of numbers. What is the only language which the computers know? Binary. Too specific. You make me change this now. Numbers, right? Zeros and ones. But basically, it is numbers, right? So numbers are mathematics. Is the interface between the natural phenomena or the natural world and the engineering world. Right? So when it receives all the numbers, it tries to find the patterns. When you are doing your coaching classes, I hope all of you would have done that. You would have had some mental ability test, right? Some classes were there, and you will try to find the patterns. The same thing is being done by the computers also. Why the computers are doing the thing? Because our brain is also trying to find only the patterns. I do not know each one of your names, but what do I know? He is wearing a black shirt, he is wearing a white shirt. He is having a curly hair, she is having a long hair. That's it. We think that immediately I know this is a human being, he is having 2 legs, 2 hands, nothing. I know only the external appearance, which is called as patterns. So these signals are given to the computers, and these computers are trying to take a decision whether how much amount of noise is there and what should I do to make sure this noise will be removed from the scene, right? So we have the desynchronization and synchronization process, and also we have the sensory motor task, which is a hybrid task, right? Partial real activity, partial virtual activity. And also you have a rest state process, right? We always think that rest is something when we sleep. Am I right? Right? But it is not actually the case. Are you in a rest state now? No? Yes. Right? Answer is yes. What is this rest state? If your brain follows the same environment If it has the same type of input for 30 to 100 seconds, then it says that your brain is in the rest stage. What is sleep? The brain is going to encounter the same amount of information for 7 to 8 hours. Then our brain will get furnished. Right? That's what people say. Now you assume that suddenly a snake enters this room. What will happen? What will happen? You will try to find a place to jump out and go. Right? Even I will not stand and give lecture. I will start running. Right? Now what happens? A sudden change in the brain, which affects your rest state. That becomes active state. Right? There is a separate type of signals which are available in the rest state, which is used for reconstructing our dreams. How many of you have dreams in your sleep? All of us. And one says no. Good sleep, very good sleep. I should appreciate you. Right? If you have dreams, right? Theologically, we say some information is being conveyed to you via dreams. Right? Some information is being conveyed, or something which is going to take place in the future is being conveyed to you via dreams. And we are doing a research specifically with professors in Northern Ireland, Luxembourg, and we are doing work on reconstructing the dream. Right? But it is very, very hard. A monkey is sitting on the tree. Now I will give you an A4 sheet and I will ask you to draw a diagram. Right? What is the diagram you should draw? A monkey is sitting on the tree. Will I get the same type of monkey, same type of tree from each and every one of you?
No.
Definitely it's not at all possible. Morning I get up and say, I am running to catch the bus for my exams, but always I am missing the bus. Right? How can I visualize this? It is really very, very difficult. Right? That is another rest state of processing, which is also a part of brain-computer interface. But we will just look at the motor imagery, BCA, which is remarkably used for neuro rehabilitation. Right? As of now, forget about the flip side, or don't think about the negatives and all those things. For the time being, you understand that you are a doctor, maybe you become a neurologist, we do not know. You become someone who is going to do research in neurorehabilitation, we do not know. Right? This BCA is used for all the patients after some accidents, or they lose their hands or lose their legs or whatever it may be. Right? We pass the signal and make sure that this person with disability also will communicate or will have the same quality of life as another. So this is the complete picture of brain-computer interface. So you have the thought process of motor imagery, and we have the magnetoencephalography device available for capturing the signals. And the third stage is called as pre-processing. The first stage is natural, the human head is natural, FMGE is the device, input device, which is used to acquire the data, and all the remaining 3, 4, 5 blocks are within the computers. Right? Within the computer. They do plenty of analysis and try to find out what exactly this thought signal corresponds to. Right? We call it as pre-processing, feature extraction, classification, then you have an interface, and then we go for application. So what are the different types of noises available? You have the brain states, different types of brain states. You must be knowing that the external factors, the fatigue and the noise, the power line noise, and the different types of electronic equipment. When I stand here, if there is an electronic equipment in this room, right? Sometimes people say that even if it is not switched on, still it has the capability of interfering with my thought process, because we have plenty of cables, right? power lines, plenty of cables which always dissipates power. There will be always leakage of power. It is not that harmful, but it has the capability of interfering with the signal which we are taking from the thought process. Right? It has a high capability of interfering and leading to high noises. So what should we do? I am an engineer, right? So I'm a computer scientist. So I should be in a position to develop some algorithms to make sure that these noises will be right. But where do I depend on developing these algorithms? I come back to the best decision-making equipment in this world, which is the brain. I copy, I study the function of brain, I analyze it, then I take clue from that, and then I develop artificial brain and remove all the noises. Now you can ask, why can't a human being do that? Right? We always will not be in the same mood every time. Right? My management expects me to deliver a first-class lecture for 50 minutes, all 90 hours in a semester. Is it practically possible? I cannot tell to my management, but I am asking you, is it practically possible? No. Why? Why? Because I am also a human. I come from home, I have family pressure. My wife would have scolded me on that day when I asked for a cup of coffee, right? My son or my daughter would have given different information. When I come to my office or my cabin, there will be some unpleasant information or instances to me. What happens now? Do you think I should come and deliver a first-class lecture? Practically impossible. Decision-making process also will be different. So I want something which is always concrete, giving a clear-cut decision without having any emotional imbalance. Right? That is that artificial brain. I'm not going to say it is much superior than human brain, but it can augment the benefits of. So this is the data set we collected. Can you understand something? Because I could not understand many information from this data. They say channels, magnetometers, all these are magnetoencephalography device, right? Some people were showing something yesterday morning. So if you want, you can have a look at that too. This is taken from Ulster University in Northern Ireland. We have a collaboration over there. They have a machine there in the university itself, and they take the data from not from the patients, but people like you or any